The Rain or Shine Elasto Painters are a professional basketball team in the Philippine Basketball Association owned by Asian Coatings Philippines, Incorporated. It debuted in the league in the 2006 July PBA season after acquiring the franchise rights of the Shell Turbochargers in 2006, which disbanded after the 2004 May PBA season. From 1996 to 2006, the franchise played in the Philippine Basketball League, carrying the name Welcoat House Paints, Welcoat Paintmasters and the St. Benilde-Rain or Shine Elasto Painters, winning a total of 6 championships. Beginnings: Philippine Basketball League. Welcoat became a member of the Philippine Basketball League in 1996, where PBA legend Sam Boy Lim suited up for the team, minus his traditional high socks. Its first championship came in the 1999 Challenge Cup, winning 3-0 over Red Bull energy drink. Welcoat was considered as one of the 2 teams to enter the PBA before the 2000 season but lost out to Red Bull. Since then, the Paintmasters won 5 more championships, fielding in the best amateur and former Metropolitan Basketball Association players available, most notably Don Alado, Renron Richelieu, Yancy Diocampo, Rommel Aducal, Ronald Tuwid, James Yap, Paul Artadi, and Jay Washington. One of its biggest rivals from 2000 to Euro 2002 was Shark Energy Drink, with PBA players Chester Tolomia, Roger Yap, and later Rain or Shine member Gilbert Malabanan, as both teams engaged in 4 straight finals series, splitting both series in the process. In 2005, Welcoat changed its name to Rain or Shine Elasto Painters, one of the products of their parent company, Welbist. The Elasto Painters made it all the way to the finals of the Heroes Cup against Magnolia. After leading the series 2-0, Rain or Shine suffered one of the biggest collapses in league history as the Wizards won the series in 5 games. In the 2006 PBL Unity Cup, the Elasto Painters were swept in the semi-finals by the Toyota Otis Sparks to end their 4 consecutive finals appearance, but placed 3rd in a 1-game playoff against Monte ± a pawn shop on June 8. Prior to the start of Game 3 of the Unity Cup title series between Harbor Center and Toyota Otis on June 13, 2006, the league awarded the team with the Dynasty Award for their 10 years of success in the league. Several past and present members of the Welcoat franchise were on hand, as they brought their 6 championship trophies during the ceremony. Acquiring a PBA franchise, after Shell's departure in the PBA in 2005, the league gave Shell an ultimatum of until early 2006 to either announce their return to the league for the 06-07 season, or to sell the franchise to a prospective buyer. In several press releases and interview, then PBA Commissioner Nauli Ila mentioned that some companies were interested in joining the league, although he did not stress which of these companies were. One of Ila's vision was for the PBA to be a 12-team league. Welcoat suddenly came into the picture, expressing interest to buy the Shell franchise. By January 2006, major newspapers reported that the Welcoat team is nearing the completion of acquiring the Shell team. By February, the PBA announced the entry of Welcoat as the 10th PBA team for the 2006 Euro 2007 season. People's Journal said that the turnover was approved between P30-40 million, a big drop from the original P60 million the Turbochargers wanted. 1. The Manila Times, however, reported that it was close to P55 million that Shell wanted. 2. Welcoat put out P60 million as bond for 5 years, P7 million for participation fee and another P6 million for transfer fee. As incentive, the PBA allowed Welcoat to grab 3 amateur players from their Rain or Shine PBL team. The Paintmasters named J.A. Reyes, John Carpchew, and NCAA Most Valuable Player Jay Sagard as the 3 players from the core of its amateur team which they elevated into the pros directly. Welcoat also signed PBL veterans Nia ± Ojalig, undrafted point guard Froilan Buguyan, Jarquels Tanque, and former Shell players Adonis Station, Maria and Rob Wainwright. In the dispersal draft, Welcoat took Gilbert Lau from Coca-Cola and Denver Lopez from San Miguel. In August 2006, Welcoat announced that they will be named as the Welcoat Dragons in their pro stint, while also grabbing former UP Fighting Maroons players Abby Santos and Jaire Iba plus or minuses as the team's new rookies, although Santos failed to sign with the team. Welcoat Dragons. In its PBA debut, Welcoat lost to eventual champion Barangay Ginebra Kings in the season opening game of the 2006 July PBA season, 102-69. Jojo Tanque scored the team's first ever basket in the league. Denver Lopez led the team with 12 points while rookie J.R. Reyes had 10 for the Dragons. The Dragons won its first victory on October 9, defeating Coca-Cola. Their next two victories came at the hands of the San Miguel Berman and the Torquay Text Phone Pals. Despite a 3-5 record, Welcoat lost their next 10 games along with injuries to key players that eventually ended their campaign with a 3-15 record, the only team to be eliminated after the elimination round of the 2006-07 PBA Philippine Cup. During the 2007 PBA Fiesta Conference, the Dragons had two active imports, Wayland White and assistant coach Alex Compton. The other imports, Charles Clark and Rob Sanders, preceded White. The Dragons were again the first team to be eliminated in the Fiesta Conference by the hands of the Pure Foods Tender Juicy Giants. The Dragons finished with a 7-29 record for the 2006 July PBA season and was awarded the first overall draft pick after they won the draft lottery. They eventually selected Joe Devance of University of Texas at El Paso. Before the start of the 2008 PBA Fiesta Conference, Leo Austria resigned as head coach of the Dragons, citing that the management wanted a new direction. Then assistant coach Eloy Garcia was named interim head coach on March 18 and would eventually become the team's official head coach. The Dragons finished with another 7-29 record and failed to qualify again for the playoffs in either of the two conferences. Rain or Shine Elasto Painters. In 2008, a new name was introduced for the team, Rain or Shine Elasto Painters. At the 2008 PBA draft held at Market Taguig, the team drafted Gabby Norwood of George Mason University as the first overall pick. In the second round, the Elasto Painters grabbed point guard Tyrone Tang of De La Salle University 24 hours after the draft proper. The team traded 2007 first overall pick Joe Devance and their 2009 and 2010 second-round picks to the Alaska Aces in exchange for Alaska's 2009 first-round pick, number 5 overall Solomon Mercado, and veteran Eddie Lauer. They defeated Air 21 on their first game of the 2008 Euro 2009 Philippine Cup, 120-102 to spark a surprise showing at the 2008-09 PBA Philippine Cup. The Elasto Painters were aiming for a semi-final berth when they were defeated by the eventual champions Torquay Tropang Texters in the elimination round. With a record of 10-8, they faced the defending champion Star Lucia Realtors in the quarter-finals, where they were swept 2-0 in the best-of-3 series, with Norwood and Mercado being ejected in Game 1. Their 10-win record surpassed their best performance in a season. During the Fiesta Conference, the Elasto Painters took import Charles Clark but was soon replaced by heavyweight G. Lewis, a former college teammate of Gabby Norwood. Ace playmaker Sol Mercado got injured before their quarterfinals game with Pure Foods. Despite a depleted lineup, the Elasto Painters defeated Pure Foods led by Gabby Norwood and point guard Tyrone Tang in the absence of Mercado. Tang made a three-point shot to take the lead with 31 seconds left. They won and made it to the semi-finals for the first time in franchise history. They were then eliminated by the Barangay Ginebra Kings in the semi-finals, ending their season with promise. In the 2011 PBA Commissioner's Cup, they made the franchise best start, 3-0 under Yenguirao. In the 2011-12 PBA Philippine Cup, they finished 9-5, fifth place because of an inferior quotient on Ginebra and Petron. They swept the crowd favorite Barangay Ginebra Kings, 2-0 to advance to their third semi-finals appearance. They faced the 8th-seeded Powerade Tigers, who eliminated the top-seeded crowd favorite B Megalomados, but they are eliminated, 3-4. In the 2012 PBA Governors' Cup, they found their franchise best start, 4-0. They won 107-100, 100-94, 106-92 and 93-90 over Alaska Aces, Benilde-Rain, Air 21 Express and Barangay Ginebra Kings on Paul Lee's winning triple. 2.6 seconds remaining but lost on arch-rival Parade, 98-104. Rain or Shine won via overtime. They made their first final appearance after winning against Benilde-Rain at a very crucial game, 92-82, under the leadership of coach Yenguirao on 2012 PBA Governors Cup, though after that loss, Benilde-Rain won over a do-or-die game against the Barangay Ginebra Kings for the remaining slot for the finals. On their debut game for the 2012 Governors Cup, Rain or Shine Elasto Painters won a very physical game against Benilde-Rain 91-80. The team had a disappointing loss on game 2 where their rookie, Paul Lee, re-injured his left shoulder 80-85. Even without Paul Lee, the team bounced back on their third and fourth games, 93-84 and 94-89, respectively, to lead the series 3-1. However, the team lost both Game 5 and 6 with Benilde forcing a winner-take-all Game 7. On August 5, 2012, the 6-year-old franchise won their first championship title after handing Benilde an 83-76 game loss. The undermanned team led by coach Yenguirao along with their import Jamel Cornley and the local Jeff Chan, who won the finals MVP, grabbed the lead early in the third quarter after Benilde-Rain's import Marks Blakely had foul trouble. Indiana, 2013-14 PBA Philippine Cup, they finished the eliminations in second slot. They beat Global Port Batang Pier in semis in full swoop. They also beat Petron Blaze Boosters in 4-1 sweep, despite their coach Yenguirao having penalized in Game 4. They faced San Mig Super Coffee Mixers in finals, taking the early win. But after suffered their loss at Game 4, Yenguirao said there are no chances for losers, they are going to be fired from the team. Winning their second win. They lost to the Mixers during Game 6, with multiple fouls on Chris Shiu, Bo Belka and their players are injured, including Jervy Cruz and Ryan Era +or-A and Yenguirao getting second technical foul after slapping the ball held by the referee and walking out, getting a fine and penalty. Current roster. Season-by-season records. Records from the 2013 Euro 14 PBA season, 1-game playoffs, team had the twice-to-beat advantage, players of note. Members of the PBA's 25 greatest players, Sam Boy Lim, former player, assistant coach and consultant in their Philippine Basketball League squad. Other notable players, in alphabetical order. Includes players of the Welcoat PBL team. Coaches, Leo Austria, Saloy Garcia, Yenguirao, PBL Championships, 1999 First PBL Challenge Cup, 1999 Second PBL Challenge Cup, 2000 PBL Chairman's Cup, 2001 PBL Cup, 2002 PBL Challenge Cup, 2005 PBL Unity Cup, PBA Championships, 2012 PBA Governors Cup Game 7 Series. External links, official website, Enter the Dragons, Welcoat undergoes AA Euro painstaking Euro unregistered trademark makeover, mypbl.com, Rain or Shine, philippinenews.com, Welcoat team, a Euro Genesis Euro unregistered trademark of great players, Sunstar Cebu, PBA offers franchise to Welcoat Paints, Manila Times, Welcoat poised to enter PBA via Shala Euro unregistered trademark S franchise, Journal, Welcoat joins PBA family, Manila Times, PBA welcomes Welcoat Paints as 10th member, PBA PH, Welcoat wants Compton in PBA debut, references.